the only Shopify tutorial you will ever need. So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sebastian Sanchez. Today I have an exciting video basically going over the 6 things you need to know for you to be able to scale your e-commerce website using Facebook ads, TikTok ads, and actually optimizing your website. And I get asked this question a lot based on, the agency that we're currently doing and who we're working with. Just what do you really need to do in order to basically just start your e-commerce business or scale your e-commerce business? So this is basically an all-inclusive step-by-step tutorial on how you can be successful in e-commerce right now in 2023. And if you're questioning my credibility on why I'm teaching these such things, well, I run an e-commerce growth partner agency where we've worked with some of the biggest brands in the world, generating more than $465 million for most of our brands on paid ads. And on a selfish note, there are a few links in the description I would like you to look at and basically just click, because what you can do from there is you can get on a hop on a call with myself to see if we can actually help you scale or start your brand. And before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I am uploading videos every week, shorts every day, teaching you valuable stuff to do with e-commerce, artificial intelligence, paid ads, and just everything within the e-commerce niche essentially. So hit the subscribe button, my kids will love you for it. And let's get to it. So here are 6 things we're going to be able to break down in this video, and I'm actually going to go through the live website for a client of ours who we're now onto the optimization phase. So we're going to go through the site together live and make sure they have everything they need in place. The first one we're going to go through is website optimization breakdown. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to be able to teach you how to leverage conversion and sales when people hit your pages. The second thing is looking at the Facebook ad campaign structure. So you'll be able to understand what it's going to take for you to scale your Facebook ads. The third thing is going to break down the actual Facebook ad spend. Fourth is going to go over the creatives that are allowing this system to scale without having to refresh very often. And then and only then we're going to be looking at TikTok ad creatives, what those look like and how often those need to be refreshed, as well as the organic strategy that will propel the brand organically on TikTok. So your brand essentially. And let's get to it. So now we are in a client of ours called Revise. They sell basically just jeans for women. We're going to basically just go through the audit with them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinpoint specific things that I would recommend everyone to do when starting or optimizing their website. And then the second thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to give recommendations as to like what stuff they're missing and you should be adding essentially. So from the top, their top bar, right? This is very, very essential for you when you're creating or starting your e-commerce business or just optimizing. The reason why is because you usually have your USP in here. So it usually is something along the lines of, a buy one, get one free, or a sell extended, which in this case for the Revise at the moment is sell extended. The next thing obviously most people have is, free shipping above X amount of spend, usually like free shipping above $100, or, the one we recently launched with a client was save $75 for every $250 you spend, which worked amazingly. And yeah, like 100% you need to add this to as a USP in terms of the website. Then you have the menu, which is great. You have the main header, amazing. The next thing I then start looking at is usually the conversion rate. I don't really see any conversion here, which means that the product should essentially convert by himself depending on where I am. I don't see any prices here, so I highly recommend you put prices of the products like on your homepage, because what this does is it gets people in tune with on average how much they realistically are going to be spending on any specific products. I am going to click into a product because I do want to know if it actually converts or not. So at the moment it says $92.40 with the sale, I imagine. I think it was 25% off. Nothing has changed yet, but let's give it a few seconds because sometimes it does happen in terms of allowing it to go. We're going to go through again. We're going to go through absolutely everything here. I don't think it's changing, so I'll probably have to let them know that they need. Oh, there we go. It just changed. So again, hopefully it hasn't got anything to do with the load time, but £74, it did change it, which is really great because it means that, I'm able to understand how much I'm actually going to spend in checkout instead of, putting and adding stuff to cart and then going into checkout and then being like, okay, well, now I'm going to convert it into whatever I need basically. So if we go back to the homepage, and the next thing I'm going to look at is the bestsellers. So this is basically where we're at already. These guys are cool and they've got going viral, which is still really good because, the audience that they have right now is essentially for people like young girls on TikTok. So going viral must mean they're bestsellers, which I think it is, because this is probably the bestseller they have on their site. So you necessarily need to have bestsellers on your page because you need to sell, you need conversion rate to be high. And if you have the products that usually convert and people like the most and customers like the most, then it becomes more attractive to them being able to click on it, purchase it, or then click on it and going on to different products essentially. We have done a lot of research on stuff like this, and the one thing I will say is try and avoid having the model eyes in any product images, especially on ads as well. The research has been done that any eyes that you see take it away from the actual product, which means that people are less likely to purchase from it. So what you want to have here essentially is product shots with like plain background, and then when you hover over it, it then flips it onto like a lifestyle image or a model image. Just makes so much more sense. The other problem with having product images like this is that it looks a little bit drop shipping, like it belongs to a drop shipping store, which means that people will more likely not buy from you in that sense. Then as we scroll down, we start to see we should have different type of collections. Yeah, so as you can see here, it says skirts, matching sets. So it starts giving you different variations of products and collections that they have, tops, dresses, shorts, which is great. And let me see. So if I click onto this one, I think this product for this particular client has different colors. Great. So as I can see here, what you should have, again, user experience, user-friendly website, and what you need to have is all the colors essentially to make it easier. So if anyone comes on here and they want to find a different color, they can just click it and they can see all the different colors with all the different size variations that they have. This is all really good stuff. Continuing to look into the product pages because they all should look the same. You do want to have what you may also like or recommended products, recommended for usually what we call it. And this, because what you want to do is you want to be able to have a higher average order value at the beginning up front, because then people are more likely to purchase from you later down the line. Having a higher average order value means you get better results on paid ads, and people will just buy more likely. So marketing psychology states that the more products someone has or consumer purchases from you and has in their wardrobe, the more likely they are to purchase from you over and over again, which is the reason why Calvin Klein and all these brands sell packs of stuff rather than just individuals. The next thing I wanted to point is they should have a pay, like below here. I highly recommend you having like your USPs in terms of like free shipping, easy returns, all of this type of stuff. I can show you a few examples if you guys wanted to. Just drop a comment below if you want me to show you a few examples of that. More than happy to do that. So the next thing we're going to do, and I usually do, is then add to cart. So if I just add like a large for this and add it to cart, essentially what I want it to do is add a pop-up. No, so this takes me to a different page. So I've already added something else here apparently, and what I see right now is that it's taking me to a secondary page, which is what I don't want, because you want it to be as seamless as possible on everything that you're doing on the website. So now that it's taking me to a different page, the problem that it's having now is that if I don't want to purchase now, I'm gonna have to click back, which means that it just ruins the experience of me being on the website. Again, the other thing, it did take quite a little bit to convert. It's giving me a message here. It says all processed in USD with the content required to be displayed. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So as you can see here, pretty cool stuff. The only problem, as I mentioned now, is that they don't have a pop-up cart, which is very, very essential for you to have. I would definitely recommend having a pop-up, add to cart, or a cart because when I click on here, it takes me to a different secondary page. It's not effective at all. The reason why it's not effective is because website conversion is important. You want your conversion rate on the website to be as high as possible, and any small thing that allows you for it to not be successful will become detrimental to the amount of purchases that you have with the ROAS, the revenue, which is the main important thing essentially. What I would recommend is using the Beautify, because when you sign up with the Beautify, in order for you to be able to, create your e-commerce website, what this does is it gives you all the necessary tools for you to be able to create the website that you need for your particular niche within e-commerce. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to be going through a live ad account structure. So now I'm going to be flipping a little bit to a more successful brand that we're actually running with called GoForth. Because with Revise, we're still at the optimization phase. There's a lot that needs to be done for this particular brand. This is what essentially an ad campaign looks like that we're currently running right now in 2023, and I'm going to go through each one. So for example, we have the top of funnel, which is just as much as possible bringing in as many people, and even as you can see, even at top of funnel, we're still getting a 4.77 ROAS, and this is coming based off of the type of content that we're running. I'm going to get into what type of content we're actually running with this particular brand. We have basically 3 top of funnel campaigns running, basically focusing more on the video side of things. That is essentially what we're running right now. We used to just run static images. We've tested some UGC, which has worked amazingly for this brand, and then we also have the sales creative, which right now, as we have a few brands that are running a few sales. The sales is having a 3.77. The retargeting obviously has a higher purchase ROAS than what we're doing, and also the middle of funnel retargeting. This one is a little bit broad in this one. So great ROAS as you can see, but as you can see, guys, 6.36 ROAS in total. We spent 11,000 on with this particular brand, so you can kind of understand how much you're making back. 71,000 with this particular brand. So this is essentially how you want to break down your ad account in top of funnel, middle of funnel, or bottom of funnel. Obviously, you're going to spend more on the top of funnel because you're trying to pour as many people into there that might be interested in your product. Middle of funnel retargeting can be kind of similar, especially when it comes to broad. But yeah, then you need to start looking at your metrics in terms of like your frequency, your CPMs and your CPAs, your cost per acquisition. And these are all things that you need to start understanding. Again, I could make a totally different separate video on this, but these are some metrics that you need to. There really essentially are just 4 metrics that you need to be looking at. ROAS is a very, very silly metric, and you shouldn't really be looking at it because it doesn't identify cash flow. It only identifies what people are willing to spend in the first purchase from what you've spent on ads. So we don't look at ROAS ROAS, we look at CPMs, we look at frequency, sometimes we look at conversion value just to kind of get an idea of what you're making back essentially from what you're spending. Next, we're going to go into Facebook ad creative. So for this particular brand that we're getting about a 7 ROAS, the type of creatives that we want to be seeing are more UGC created. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an actual example of the type of content that we're actually running for these guys.
Someone asked what my go-to bag is. This is my favorite bag from Go Forth Goods. It's the perfect starter bag for someone looking for high-quality, full-grain leather bag. You can order this bag with or without pockets. I went with no pockets so I can just throw all my stuff in and go, which I love. My favorite features are the solid brass hardware and the fact that I know this was made by hand just for me. Oh, and I almost forgot, every bag has a lifetime warranty. This bag is amazing. Go check it out at goforthgoods.com.
So this is an actual video that is doing really well. I think it's getting them like 11 ROAS at the moment and retargeting. Top of funnel. But again, we're running different tests and variations. So if we go through it, for example, if I just mute this, again, I'm going to go through the video just to kind of give you an example of what you guys should be doing. But as you can see, great aesthetics. She's very stylish. So she's complementing the bag, especially in what it looks like, the kind of leather. She's going with the leather with the jeans and a white top, with a little hat, which is pretty cool. Great background, aesthetic. She seems like she knows what she's doing when it comes to the creative side of things. Cool. She's doing a product shot, which is really great, and understanding that it's leather. Again, more product shots showing how it's used, showing the inside of the bag, which is amazing. The solid brass hardware, the logo on the stitching. Every bag has a lifetime warranty, so naming the USPs, which is really great. This is a video, and it makes sense of why it's performing so well, essentially. And then if you look at the copy, we're really having an understanding that like short copy is working way better than long form copy. No one really likes to read ads anymore, especially right now with the attention span being like 0.6 seconds. So we're really going for a small copy, kind of going straight to the point. Experience the perfect go-to bag with Go Forth Goods. I can't speak, guys. The Jane Level crossbody, high quality full grain bag. Discover more at Go Forth Goods. Straight to the point. Let the video do the talking. The video will be the one that will be doing the targeting, who it's going to, and absolutely everything. Great tagline as well. So now let's get into how much you should be spending on Facebook, and let's go through the ad spend modeling calculator. So this essentially is what we use to determine how much you should be spending on Facebook ads and just TikTok ads essentially. So what we've done is I've created this ad spend modeling calculator that we give to absolutely all of our clients. We actually hand this out for free to anyone kind of interested. So if you are interested in just getting this and using it, I'm going to go through how we use it essentially. But if you are interested in this, just drop a comment. I will send you the link to this. You guys can just make a quick copy essentially. So what we're looking at here is we usually sit down with a client during a strategy session, because sometimes if a client is unsure of how much they're looking to spend in this particular case, then we will just give them an idea of maybe how much they should be spending in terms of how much they should be receiving back. The difference between this particular ad spend modeling calculator though is the fact that it introduces certain stuff that other ad spend modeling calculators, or I wouldn't really want to call it modeling, but any calculators don't actually tell you and take into consideration. Stuff like gross margin and COGS, day one profit, and customer LTV. So lifetime value is super effective and important that you need to understand for your business for you to be able to scale. So many media buyers and agency owners out there play absolutely no importance whatsoever in LTV, which is ultimately what doesn't allow you to scale. LTV, again, whole different video in this. LTV is just how much a specific customer is willing to spend on you over a specific amount of time, which is usually about 12 months. Great. So what we're going to do here is we're going to just go through one scenario just to give you an example of how it works, and then you can have an idea and you can play around with it if you do decide to download it yourself. So if we are looking, for example, to get if at the moment you are at about let's just say a 2 ROAS, right? Then, okay, great. So your ad account is currently at 2 ROAS. You're currently spending about 10,000, but you're thinking, I want to be able to spend some more. So if you were to, for example, start with about 15,000, it gives you an idea that your revenue at the moment is about 30,000, right? In terms of gross margin, let's say your gross margin, we don't work with anyone with less than 30% in terms of like 40% gross margins. But the best like it is here, 60% is usually very optimal for you to be able to have that. So if you are spending 15,000, your day one profit will be a mere $3,000, right? Because you have to take into consideration COGS and overheads and shippings and handling costs and all of this type of stuff. So bearing in mind, if you're spending 15,000 and your gross margin is 60%, you're getting a 2 ROAS. At the end of the day, the day or the month, you will only be getting a $3,000. Now, if we now start taking into consideration the average order value, so let's say, for example, the average for this particular brand, let's just focus on this, it's around $254. So now we understand that, you know, $254 for this particular brand, we're saying, you know, we're seeing the CPA is about 127, customers acquired 118. So it even allows you to understand the amount of customers that it is acquiring. And now what we do for our clients as well is we help them understand the 12-month LTV. You can do this by using your email marketing or Klaviyo. You can do this by using a Shopify store dashboard. And let's say, for example, for this particular brand, over the course of 12 months, people are purchasing, you know, let's say, for example, they've purchased 4 bags, which is about 1,000. So let's just do 1,100. We can see that in one particular month that was spent $15,000, that including the LTV of most customers, the 12-month customer profit is $77,000 based on what they're spending. This particular gives you an idea. So if we do a different one and just a scenario 3, just to kind of show you how it works, then what we see here, for example, is if you're seeing a 1.5x ROAS, you're spending 10,000. Let's just do 10. That's 100,000. 10,000. Gross margin, let's say 40%. Then as you can see here, for example, if you're spending 10,000 at a 1.5 ROAS, you're losing about $4,000. Now, if your average order value is only $50, and again, I'm just doing this for you to kind of see 150, to see that over the course of a 12-month period, if all of this is accurate, then you're still making an $18,000 profit on what you're seeing, even though on the first month you're losing $4,000. So what this does is, this goes to show, this is the reason why some big brands like, you know, Coca-Cola and Nike are spending millions and millions of dollars, but what they're doing is they're only getting about a 1.5 ROAS, and it's okay with them because they understand that people are going to spend in terms of lifetime value, and they're going to make their money in a 12-month LTV. The next thing we're going to do is the creatives for TikTok. Right. What we're going to do is, if you can actually come onto this particular website. I was going to go through the TikTok ads for GoForth. However, I think it just might be better for me to show you some best performing ads on TikTok at the moment, just so you can get more of an idea, and you can actually see that. So you can go into United States, you can look at apparel, and you can see the best performing ads. So for example, if you go for this one,
my favorite looks featuring Dooney and Burke.
Yeah, and what this does is it gives you an idea of exactly the CTR, the CVR, the clicks, the conversion, and what remains basically. Yeah, and I think it's very, very recommended that you use this particular tool. But for this particular ad,
my favorite,
if we go through it, you know, we're talking about the looks for this particular bag essentially. It's a creator, which she might be an influencer, and she again doing the same thing, which is kind of showing how she can style the different bags from this particular brand. And yeah, as you can see here, it kind of gives you idea through click-through rate. So people are actually watching the whole entire ad and then go in, yes, I'm gonna click through. Yeah, just kind of this tool is super effective for you to have an understanding of, like, you know, what type of ad you should be making, what's really working in the market at the minute. And you know, for your particular brand, if you go out and create this specific content like this for your ad, it just gives you a sense of direction in terms of where you should get started, rather than just going out and like not knowing what to do and kind of just freeballing it and fail and error and trial and error and stuff like that. And then the last thing we're gonna go through is going back to just kind of revise. So these guys are on 58,000 followers, and organic content. So for those of you that particularly don't have any money for you to spend on like ad spend and like influencers and stuff like that, the main thing you guys want to be focusing on to begin with, maybe to get you to the first like $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a month, is organic content. 100%. That is the main thing you guys want to be focusing on. And in order for you to do that, the main thing I would suggest is just go into any competitors, because regardless of how big they are still your competitors. Any competitors that you kind of see and see what they're making. So for example, I know that this particular piece of content, organic content, went viral for these guys, and they were able to make just a quick $15,000 in a space of like 10 minutes, just because this went viral essentially, as you can see, compared to the other videos. And just kind of going through, like, just making it very personal to what you're doing. Other stuff that really works for your brand is usually like storytelling, like UGC videos and stuff like that, for that to go viral. So giving them a brief insight into, you know, who you are as an owner, what you're doing, how you've got to the point where you are with your business and stuff like that. That just works really great. Guys, look, we've been doing this for over 6 years now. We're the number one international growth agency, partners for some of the biggest brands in the world. Again, showing you some idea of what we're doing right now. For example, this particular brand, you know, in December, which should have been a great month for them, they were only averaging about $90,000. And as you can see, fast forward about 4 months, and they were able to, in a month where it should have been slow, by the way, able to hit 126. And then, you know, May, we were able to get 156. I think March was an extremely great month for them. They nearly hit 200K in a space of 3 months. So some great stuff here that we're currently doing with our current Last year, we were also able to help brands like Posh, who basically went from essentially $2K a month all the way. And last year, they were able to generate $12.4 million just in the space of 2022. And this year, they're actually looking to hit about $18 million in sales, which is absolutely amazing for what they're doing. Mattia, as you can see, owner of Reception Clothing, we were able to take them from, they were averaging about $30,000 a month, and now they're doing about $225,000 a month with his brand. Yeah, and actually also helping him with his creator page, because he's actually also he just recently launched a gym, like a gym membership type of thing, where he does like meal plans and stuff like that, and it's going really great for him. So we're also helping him with that. A few more. We're taking brands to 100K a month, and that is like our marquee, if you want to call it, just taking brands to 100 to basically 6 figures a month. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video so far. This has been probably the best video I have created so far with everything that we're currently doing right now, just basically showing you how to launch your own e-commerce business essentially, and if you are already running one, how to kind of optimize it. And the main thing I wanted to get out of this, guys, on a selfish note, is if you see the link below, if you are looking to partner up with someone, or you're looking for someone to kind of help you with the e-commerce business on a paid ad side of things, or a more holistic approach to what we're doing right now, feel free to book in a call with myself. We are limited to the amount of people and brands that we can actually help, so take action today. Book in a call with me sometime this week. You're not talking to no salesperson, you're actually going to talk with myself, who will actually take the call and also give you some guidance in terms of what you are doing, what you're not doing, and then give you some direction on where you need to go to be able to scale. So appreciate your time today, guys, and yeah, see you in the next video.